Ladies and gentlemen, this is absolutely hilarious. You now have Democrats. Listen to this. This is the funniest thing you've heard all day or in a long time. You have Democrats wanting Justice Stephen Breyer to retire. Okay, for what reason? Primarily because he took a gigantic dump on their absurd and irrational and ludicrous idea of packing the courts, which, by the way, Ruth Bader Ginsburg was against also. It has to be the worst political stunt of all time, because then Republicans will pack the court with a greater number of justices to give them the majority. Then Democrats will do the same. Then Republicans will do the same. And you'll end up with 1,038 or 1,037 liberal justices, and then, oh goodness, we'll have 1,039 Republican justices. It is the worst idea of all time, but see, Democrats, hit subscribe to this channel. I'll give you some context. They cheated Bernie Sanders in 2016 and lost miserably. They blamed Russia to save face, and now you see Biden's doing nothing to prevent Russia from invading Ukraine. Absolutely nothing. Sanctions, I don't think, is making Putin or is preventing Putin from doing anything. So they talked a big game for 4 years, and it was all propaganda and nonsense. But anyway, and by the way, President Trump sent arms shipments, whereas President Obama and Biden have not. So that just goes to show you that they were full of you-know-what. But that's a different story. I mean, Democrats are all over the place. They have media propping up every failed narrative. It's unbelievable. But hit subscribe to this channel right now. To my Patreons, Samuel, thank you so very, very much. So Samuel, and to my new Patreons, thank you so much for your generosity. And if you want to support my voice long-term, ladies and gentlemen, it's becoming increasingly difficult to be a content creator, but I am doing the best I can, and thank God the channel is doing well, and it's because of you. But if you do want to support my voice, Samuel, again, thank you so much. Thank you as always. Thank you. My Patreon is below. It's on hagoodman.com as well. You can go to hagoodman.com to read my writing. In The Hill, The Huffington Post, Salon, The Federalist, The Jerusalem Post, The Daily Caller, other publications, The Roanoke Times. You can read my writing in opposition to counterinsurgency conflicts on hagoodman.com. But ladies and gentlemen, this is why forcing Stephen Breyer to retire makes no sense, but it's something that Trump has forced them to do or compelled them to do. Because Trump lives in their mind. They know that they lost a great deal in terms of Supreme Court justices. They lost a generation of Supreme Court justices, and it was entirely their fault. They pushed Clinton. I told everyone in my writing, The Hill, The Huffington Post, and The Salon, that all the editors gave a stamp of approval before all my articles went viral in 2016. In 2015 also, I stated, Clinton's going to lose to Trump. If you force people, or if you use the scare tactic, oh, you know what, the Supreme Court, there are people like myself, when I was on the left, before I realized that it's a gigantic racket, but I said, you cannot tell human beings who have critical thinking skills that they need to back a political party that actually railroads and cheats its own candidate. A political party where the chairwoman of the DNC is forced to resign in disgrace. So Debbie Wasserman Schultz resigned. Why? Because the DNC emails in their own writing, Putin never wrote the emails. Russian operatives never wrote those emails. Just like they didn't write Hunter Biden's emails. Just like they didn't store Clinton's private servers or operate Clinton's private servers. They almost certainly infiltrated them. That's according to James Comey. But again, the Democratic Party is a complete train wreck that is propped up by every conceivable possible advantage, from social media to late night to almost every publication, political publication, Hollywood. But here, CNN, Democratic congressman calls on Justice Stephen Breyer to retire. New York congressman first to publicly call for Justice Breyer's resignation. You have other Democrats talking about it. You have publications talking about it as well. They want to make the court more diverse, but they don't want diversity of thought. They want people of all different backgrounds to think one specific way. Then that means that's a wonderful outcome for Democrats. With Stephen Breyer, he's against court packing, but also, you cheated Bernie Sanders, you lost. I warned everybody, I told everybody on the left, I said, you're going to lose. Even the scare tactic, the peer pressure and the bullying. Oh, well, Republicans will do this. And you cheat your candidate, you're not going to get people with an actual spine to vote for you. Okay? So I said voter turnout's going to be horrendous, and Clinton lost. And so it was their fault. Okay? They're the ones who cheated. They're the ones, like, they operate from this, in this mentality that, well, and then you had the, party unity mob behind people, the Pumas, who didn't want to vote for President Obama. So you talk about supremacy and prejudice. Democrats backing Clinton in 2008 didn't even want to vote for President Obama until they were forced to. But, so that's, the party unity is only when they completely steamroll the left, because it's a giant racket. So what they'll do is they'll say, Medicare for all. You don't like it? How dare you? You're immoral. And then Jimmy Dore says, well, why don't you vote for Medicare for all? And they'll say, how dare you? You're immoral. Why are you dividing the party? They'll say two different things. They'll completely contradict themselves within the same sentence or the same thought process, and they'll advocate things that they don't intend to actually vote on. And then they say, well, Republicans are worse. Trump Republicans are a lot better, especially in terms of foreign policy. Okay? President Trump is the only reason President Biden, our beloved President Biden, is being forced to withdraw Americans. Having Americans in never-ending counterinsurgency wars is the greatest moral dilemma. The most immoral thing we could ever do as a country. That's the greatest national security dilemma we face, in my view. That's what drives me. That's the primary reason, along with other reasons, I voted for President Trump. So, Democrats are not the lesser evil. They're the much greater evil. But here, they did this to themselves. They're now trying to backtrack. They're now trying to get a political victory when they have a horrendous crisis, a humanitarian crisis at the border that President Trump did not preside over. Worse than anything that took place during President Trump's administration. That's a fact. So bad that I can't even talk about it because of YouTube policies. You have Russia with 85,000 soldiers on the border of Ukraine. Biden's doing nothing after this tough talk. And the only thing that he actually did was force a prosecutor out. So, but that had absolutely nothing to do with incriminating emails that showed that he lied about meeting people that his son deals that his son brokered, where he met with people that he claimed he never met. So once Republicans take over the House in 2022, you'll see impeachment there. But here's the issue, okay? I'm like a fossil, like a dinosaur, a relic of 2016, ladies and gentlemen. That's another fun little reason to watch my channel. Democrats blamed Bernie Sanders people. Bernie Sanders is a tool he folded in like 2 seconds, and he was cheated. He never even acknowledged he was cheated the past 4 years. He pushed the Trump-Russia myth that they utilized against him, but he was cheated. $200 million given to him from voters. He never refunded the money. At least Trump and Republicans refunded money, it was bad that they had the recurring donation, but they refunded the money, where Bernie did not refund any money. But anyway, it's another story. They lost. They failed miserably. They had every single possible advantage. They tried to bully voters, people with actual spines and integrity and critical thinking skills, into voting for a candidate who cheated another candidate. Okay? So much so that the DNC chairwoman promptly worked for the Clinton campaign. So DWS worked immediately after resigning in disgrace for Clinton's campaign. The DNC email showed that they cheated. Clinton was more militant than even President Obama. There was numerous other reasons. There was an FBI investigation that, by the way, was a cover-up. Almost certainly, anyone with top secret intelligence on their computers don't get to set the terms of when they'll give the computers, or, deleting 30,000 emails. That is another racket that Democrats, of course, don't care about. But I told everybody on the left, they're going to lose the election. They lost the election. It was their fault. It wasn't the fault of people who didn't fall in line because the Supreme Court was at stake. It was the fault of arrogant narcissists who ran the Democratic Party into the ground by cheating a candidate and saying it was fair and neutral. They would have been better off simply telling the truth, saying, yeah, we're going to push for one side, and this primary is a complete racket. Then we'll complain about election interference from Russia after we interfered in our own primary and tipped the scales and railroaded our own candidate, while at the same time saying it's fair and neutral and pocketing all the money that was given to Bernie Sanders by idealistic voters. They lost. You have Gorsuch now, you have Kavanaugh, and you have Amy Coney Barrett. By the way, Kavanaugh, they wanted to resign because of an accusation. Biden had an even more credible accusation against him with a police report. Of course, he wasn't told to resign. Many Democrats are the biggest hypocrites on the planet. But anyway, now they knew the rules. Then they say, well, Merrick Garland, you didn't have the Senate. You fools. My God, it's not that difficult. Eat McConnell. It wasn't my fault. You imbeciles didn't have a Senate. They didn't have the Senate. If Democrats ran the Senate, and the tables were turned, they would have done the exact same thing as McConnell. They're trying to pack the courts now. That's even worse. So, if you don't run the Senate and it's an election year, you're just not gonna hold a vote. So you get to run the clock out and not give President Obama the ability to choose a Supreme Court justice. Then you thought that Clinton was gonna, and by the way, they're the ones, who, it was Harry Reid. Talk about arrogance and hubris. Democrats thought that Clinton was a certainty, so they changed the vote process to just a simple majority and not a supermajority. You lose again. My God, you couldn't find more arrogant narcissists in your life who are so absolutely confident in victory. 2016 was a gigantic, unprecedented political disaster for Democrats, and they've been reliving that year ever since. It might not seem that way, but they have. So you now have a simple majority because of Harry Reid. You don't need 60 votes, just a simple majority. President Trump got, and then you cheated Bernie Sanders. You lost. That's your fault. And now you're backtracking and you're saying, well, Stephen Breyer doesn't want to pack the court, and he's not diverse enough, so he should take a hike. You can't force. These are lifetime appointments. You knew the rules, by the way. You think they'd be packing the courts now to make it more fair and balanced? You think they'd be if they got 3 liberal justices and Republicans wanted to pack the courts, what do you think Jimmy Kimmel and Trevor Noah and John Oliver would be doing? They'd be mocking Republicans and making fun of them and disparaging. Oh my God, they want to pack the courts. What do they want? 1,000,001 justices. But now they just Trump got into their brains and lives rent free, and they want Breyer to retire for some victory for some perceived victory. It would still be 6-3, so that you're not even changing the ideological balance of the court. And there's a commission to study whether or not, and this is like so absurd. The commission is Democrats. Their only arguments are formed by appeals to authority. And so they say, well, the smartest people in the room have determined, and then it's whatever is politically most viable for the Democratic Party. Anyway, give me your thoughts below. There's no reason to have Stephen Breyer retire. You're not changing the ideological, composition of the court. It's a lifetime appointment anyway. And packing the court is the dumbest idea of all time. You lost, Democrats, because you cheated in 2016. Bernie Sanders specifically. People didn't want to vote for a corrupt political party. And Trump accomplished a lot more than President Obama and Bush, especially in terms of foreign policy. Abraham Accords, first president to step foot in North Korea, and on May 1st, 2021, we're supposed to completely withdraw from Afghanistan. I don't trust our beloved President Biden one bit. I think unfortunately he'll find a reason to keep us there forever. Give me your thoughts below. By the way, I will have a live stream on Monday, this Monday, April 20th. April 19th. At around 8 p.m. Pacific, so be there. I will have about 1 or 2 live streams a week, so be there April 20th or April 19th to Monday, tomorrow, around 8 p.m. Pacific.